So remember the video I made on Sonic Superstars like 5 months ago? Well, I wasn't true on my opinion. I just wanted to make a good edited video. So today I'm gonna make my true honest opinion on the game, and I wanna see how you guys feel about it. So just like Mania, when you open up the game you get an opening cutscene, which is beautiful, but look at the prologue animation we got, Trio Trouble. That animation looked higher budget. This kinda looked lower budget, and yeah, kind of meh. But the overall opening animation was good. I don't know, it was different from the Trio Trouble animation. And of course, after the animation, we get the title screen, which is beautiful, with beautiful music. And then we get Sonic Force sounding music. Ugh. So it doesn't sound bad, but it doesn't sound great. So let's move on because this music is just mid. Okay, so after you start your story, you open with another cutscene, which has another animation, which looks pretty nice. But the problem is, this is the only animation. There's no other animation except for the end of the game, or this story. So after the animation, we get into an in-game cutscene, or in-game animation. I have no idea. Anyway, we get another cutscene, and it looks pretty cool. The music is cool. This looks pretty cool, just like every opening cutscene of games. After that, you get into Bridge Island Zone, which is probably the best zone in the game, to be honest. Even though it is the first, you get a very good first impression of the game. It's a decent game, but it goes down in quality after you get to like press factory. And both facts are very beautiful and vibrant. They both look good. The visuals are very good. It feels like they only spent the most amount of time on Bridge Island and maybe Speed Jungle a little bit, but after that, the visuals don't look terrible, but they look kind of okay. So after you beat Bridge Island Act 1, there's like a little thingy, there's like a robot, like where you run from a robot, and it plays the Sonic 4 music, which sounds good actually. I'm surprised that Jun Senoue made a good track. He doesn't make bad tracks, but with a guitar, that man can cook. After you hear this decent Sonic 4 music, you load into Bridge Island Act 2, which sounds beautiful. Look at the visuals, they look so good. And the actual act itself is very good. I would say Bridge Island Act 1 and 2, as a whole zone, it's an 8.5 out of 10. It's not the best, but it's a very good first impression. Now, after Bridge Island, I'm not gonna be like in detail about every zone on how I hate them. Speed Jungle, it's a good zone. It definitely does decline in quality after Bridge Island, but it's a decent zone. I would say Act Sonic is where you get your trouble, because it plays mediocre music. Take a look. But really the whole problem is the 3-act one. Yes, in this story you can skip the second act and make it 2 acts, but it just really sucks in Trip's story that you can't do that. And overall, the first 2 zones are very good. You are going to enjoy this game for the first, like, 20 to 30 minutes, because the zones are very good. Except for Act Sonic, I would say these zones are great. But the fun really stops when you get into Sky Temple, which isn't a bad zone, but it isn't a great zone. It just looks kind of bad in visuals. It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look great. It's very interesting, and I just don't like the look of it. Overall, the level is kind of mediocre as well. It's not really fast at all. It kind of shows you some gimmicks and stuff, and it isn't really a great zone in general. I'm glad this is in Act 1, but it kind of sucks that the game gives us a first mediocre level. I just hate it. And I wish more levels were more fun and interesting. I just hate this one wasn't. The next few zones are really good in my opinion. Pinball Carnival, Lagoon City, even though it has 3 acts, you cannot skip the Amy act, which is very frustrating, but it's fine, I guess. Lagoon City is pretty decent, and then you get into Sand Sanctuary. Yeah, Sand Sanctuary. After that zone, everything starts to decline in quality, because Press Factory has a stupid gimmick. But it's annoying actually. Press Factory Act 2, Golden Capital, Frozen Base Zone. Even though the first act was good, I guess, and the Tails act was fine, the third act was bad. It had this shooter level, which is bad. I don't wanna do that. I wanna go fast. I wanna play as Sonic. I don't wanna do this. It's kinda bad. And then Egg Fortress is a fine zone, but I feel like it could be better as a final zone. And Act 2 is fine, it adds good music because Jun Sonoe adds his guitar. Finally, he actually learned something. This is the problem. It adds stupid gimmicks, the levels aren't fast enough, it just makes you frustrated, and the bosses don't help either. The final boss of the main story is bad. It just makes you want to rage quit this game. This is the most frustrating part of the game. It really just declines in quality, and it makes you bump it to a 8 out of 10 to like a 6 out of 10. I still think this game is good, but I really wish they could have fixed some tracks. Cyber Station isn't a bad zone. I would say I love the zone. It's one of the last great zones. But overall, I don't like ranting about Sonic games. I like Frontiers. I wish I could have played it because I didn't get a chance, and maybe I will one day. I got Superstars and I loved it, but I still thought this game could have been so much better. I feel like they just kind of rushed it a little bit, because the levels don't look bad, but I feel like Bridge Island is the most amount of work they put into the game, in my opinion. There are other zones that look good, but nothing can compare to Bridge Island and maybe Pinball Carnival. Maybe Speed Jungle too. But the problem is, I just want good Sonic games. I praise these games, because I don't want to criticize them. Even though I do, I really want Sega to put out good games. Even though Superstars wasn't a flop, it almost was if Bridge Island, Speed Jungle, and other zones didn't save this game. Or maybe the other composers who didn't save the game at all. If they didn't come, like T-Lopes didn't come to save this soundtrack, this game would have been a dumpster fire. I'm so glad that this game was saved, but I wish it could have been saved even more, so this game would have been an even better game. It's not as good as Mania. I still had way better time with Mania, but I still had enjoyment with this game. I love this game because it's my first ever Sonic game that I ever pre-ordered or ever gotten, and I enjoyed the game enough where I loved it. Even though the bosses were tedious and bad, I still enjoyed the game, and I still found quite an amount of fun into it. I like this game because honestly, it makes me smile. I wish it could have been like other games, and I wish Sonic X Shadow Generations is actually a good game. And if it's a bad game, then how am I gonna criticize it? Because I'll just be disappointed in general. I love Superstars. I know my take is bad. I could be better at this. But I just love Superstars because it's my first ever Sonic game that I ever played, really. And I enjoy the game a lot. I know this game isn't perfect, but there's so much fun that there's so much fun that you can have in this game. Just really take that mindset and try to enjoy this game. And if you really can't, just play Bridge Island, Speed Jungle, then just quit the game, because after that it just kind of goes nowhere. I love this game, and honestly, I hope they fix it in the future. Maybe one day. Anyway, have a good day, guys. Bye.